the conservative won the ball here on third down. Here's Richardson. He takes it in for his first NFL touchdown. And Pittman takes it inside the 20, the 10, towards the end zone. Touchdown on 2nd and 28. The Colts capitalize. Richardson to Pittman, 39 yards.
Hi.
Hey, good evening,
Hi.
everybody. We are here.
Wow.
Hello, Ashley. Hi. We're here. It is a good Saturday to talk free agency and a whole lot of fuck yous and a whole lot of fuck me's, and it's gonna be a good time. Everybody's now off screen and muting themselves, so I'll just talk to myself. It's cool.
Oh, no, I'm not muted. I'm here with you, brother.
I'm trying to get a freaking free agency tracker, the NFL ones from last year. Here we go. ESPN.
I'm not going back there anymore. You have to get it.
You have to get it.
There we go.
Whoever that was, you gotta go get it.
Yeah.
You gotta go get
That's
it.
what I was saying. Gotta get it.
You better get up and go get that shit. Is that
If
Zach?
If you don't go get it, then you're pretty much lost. You got to get it.
Yeah, you gotta go get it, bro.
But welcome in, everybody. I am the co-host, one of the co-hosts, DeMarco. Getting this shared around to everybody, but appreciate everybody coming in tonight. We'll have some more viewers getting in here soon. Hope everybody's having a good weekend, though.
Yeah, we already got 7. I mean, hey, everybody, if you're watching right now, go ahead and get in the comments. Let's get this thing kicking off. If you've never seen us before, we've been
already having 7
You're
jumping in.
missing
That
out.
means we're getting some people who actually like us. I appreciate y'all, man.
We've been doing this for about 4 years, I believe, since like 2020. Philip Rivers years when we started this. Took about a year or two hiatus and then came back, revamped everything. We're now partnered with ZTV and
Shout out to
NDTV.
ZTV.
You follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all the fun stuff. Make sure to follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, whatever you listen to your podcast to. We go live every Saturday if we're not busy, trying to, make our wives and everything happy.
And we got merch. Scan the QR code. Go check it out.
The OG logo is probably still on there, though. I haven't seen it updated, so I still haven't ordered anything.
Oh, I can't send the groups. What the hell?
Why can't you send the groups? That's new.
On Instagram. Oh, yes, I can. Never mind. Just found it. But what we jumping into, man?
This is free agency talk, man. We about to get in it. People get in the comments. Tell us who you want to see us sign. Where you think Ballard's going to go. We'll probably tell you we don't agree. I'm drinking a Celsius energy drink. I don't drink alcohol anymore.
Real fast. Yo, I think this is like the perfect free agency for what Ballard does. So, like, at certain positions, the market is.
So when you say what Ballard does, what exactly do you mean by that?
I mean, he's going to go out and get a guy that we've not heard of, sign him to like a 3-year deal, or a 4-year deal, and watch him completely pop off, like D'Amico Autry. Or he's going to go out and do what he did with Sandy Bucom last year, which is go out and sign a guy that is consistent, but was kind of undervalued and underrated, and he's going to come here and make an impact. I think that's what's going to happen. That's not what I want to see, because what I want to see is completely different. Last week I said, I only really value 2 free agents in the entire class. One we tagged in Pittman Jr., and the other one was L'Jarius Sneed. And then everybody else I didn't care for. Like, now I have my own thoughts and opinions on other areas like that, but I look at it like safety. I fully expect Ballard to go get either a young safety, and with consistent playing time, he'll develop. Or I look at him and he's going to go get a young safety and go get a vet like Justin Simmons and essentially pair them together and be like, Simmons, you're here for a good time, but not a long time. I need you to, spread your words of wisdom onto our rookies or our young players. So when you leave, the guys behind you have an understanding and a sense of direction of what we are trying to accomplish in the defense. As a fan, do I want that? No, I want the Colts to spend all the other $49 million that they have in free agency on big names, but I think it's highly, highly unrealistic. Realistically, I think the Colts really only bring back 2 free agents. Those 2 being Pittman Jr. and Kenny Moore. I think everyone else, they can walk. If you do bring a guy back like Grover Stewart, it's on like a short 2-year deal, like a $12 million deal, $8 million guaranteed. Nothing. I'm not paying him the 3 years, $33 million, $21 million guaranteed. That I keep seeing that's the going rate for a 30-year-old nose tackle.
For a top defensive tackle in the league, and then defensive tackles who actually can play well into their 30s.
He only plays two downs. That's my argument. He's a first and second down player.
Half the league only plays 2 downs. I mean, you get dudes like Aaron Donald who play, all 4 downs. That 4th down, he's not really doing much anyway.
Aaron Donald don't even play that. That's Max Crosby.
And you really got to look
Crosby is one of the rare guys who really play every down.
But he's not a nose tackle. He's an edge, and
he's an edge.
You see that more often. But you got to look at it like this: 2 out of 3 downs, I'll take that. Your whole plan is to get him off the field by that 3rd down. And essentially your game plan is to make him be at 3rd and long. You shouldn't need a run-stopping nose tackle there.
Right.
That's why I want Braden Fisk. That's why I want Braden Fisk. I think Braden Fisk can play. He can play both sides very well as far as pass pro rush, and then he's also can be a really good tackle stopping the run. Obviously, I know it's a lot of expectations to think he can come in and be better than Grove, but as far as what I think on his upside could be, I think
he doesn't have to be because he's got the.
That's why I'm thinking. That's why you could also give Grover a 1 or 2 year deal. And then you could still draft a guy like that. Or
Grover Stewart is one of those guys that we're gonna watch that we developed him for the last 4 years, and then we're gonna send him off, and then he's gonna go off somewhere else, and it's gonna piss me off. That's one of those dudes that it's gonna end up happening.
That's exactly why I just said 1 or 2 year deal.
Hold on, I agree. I agree that it's most likely going to happen, but I don't like that it's going to happen.
Right.
Like
he's gonna pay 30-year-olds.
He's gonna go somewhere like Philly, and he's gonna go off. I could see him. I could see him easily going to Philly because they got old ass
Philly.
motherfuckers.
You mean Houston?
No, I can see him going.
Don't worry about him going to the division. They got Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter in Philly.
No, I'm not worried about Houston. I don't want him to go to Houston, and they would gladly take him over there.
I don't know why that even. I don't know. I don't see him going there. I'd see him go to Philly. That's where I don't know.
I mean, if he did leave, I'd hope he go to Philly, get out of the conference. Hell, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at that. But either way, like I said, I would give him a 1 or 2 year deal. I'm not letting him walk either way, regardless of who I want to draft. But I know Zach went into a bit of a subject there, but I know a lot of people just want to throw this out here because I don't think you guys are in other group chats like I am all over the place. But I know plenty of people have different opinions upon how Ballard should approach this. Everybody thinks, we should go out and spend a whole ton of money, go bring in whoever. You guys already know how Colts fans are all across the world, where they're just like, go sign this guy. As soon as they become a free agent, go sign this guy, trade for this guy. I want this guy. I want that guy. And then
that's every fan
still, base. I mean, well, I don't listen to every fan base. I'm just talking about ours for right now.
It's every fan base. Go on Twitter. It's everywhere.
That's fair enough to say it's every fan base. And then there's also the side of the crowd that think Ballard is also going to do what he's done for the last 8 years, which is pretty much be a penny pincher, not really sign anybody, or like Zach said, sign a no name, but somebody maybe that's not going to go off, but just really a name that's small and something we didn't really need to do. So there's different opinions all over the place. What do you guys think? Not what you guys want, but what do you guys think Ballard's approach will actually be to free agency? Matt, why don't you start us out on this one since you been speaking the least so far?
I think he's going to do the same shit he does every year. I mean, everyone expects him to go out there and spend all this money, but we got people that we need to keep. And I feel like most of the money he's going to spend is going to be internal. It's going to be to Michael Pittman. I think the franchise tag was just for them to have a little bit longer for them to communicate. And then he's going to go ahead and he's going to go sign Kenny Moore to whatever deal that they get. I agree. I'm tired of his
I did not
defense.
realize what your name was. I love you being provocative with me about the whole Bowers thing.
What?
Your name, the name on the bottom. Your
Oh, you covered it up.
display-
I forget what I
display
put.
name.
Oh, Jelani
Yeah.
Woods is better than Brock Bowers.
being provocative with me.
Bro, man, man. It just drives me crazy, right? And here's the thing: this is the one thing that's been driving me nuts about Colts fans is when they see like, I don't know, Nyheim Hines getting cut. Hey, let's bring Nyheim Hines back, or
Always want to play.
They always want to bring these guys back. They were cut for a goddamn reason, man.
Yeah.
They were sent off for a reason. They either weren't fitting the scheme, or they just weren't doing production, and now they're getting cut by another team for the same shit, for the same reason. There ain't no reason to bring dudes back. Ain't no reason to bring dudes back.
But I did cut you off there. Do you remember your point where you were at with Ballard?
No, you're good. Yeah, man. I just think Ballard's going to do the same shit he normally does. He's going to pay internally because that he preached it in his press conference. He wants to pay his guys first. So he's going to pay his guys first, who he thinks he wants to bring back, which I agree with Zach. It's most likely going to be Kenny Moore, which if I'm going to compare the value and how easy a certain position is to replace, I'm going to go Kenny Moore as a re-sign than I am going to go Grover Stewart. I can get a big body, a big dude to go ahead and stuff the middle of the defensive line, but you can't really replace a slot corner that plays at that type of level. They're harder to find rather than finding a nose tackle like Grover Stewart. That's my so I agree with Zach at that point. I just love Grover Stewart, and I love watching his development over the years, that it would have been nice to be able to keep him moving forward, especially with his chemistry with Buckner. Having those two in the middle kind of solidifies that. But go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say absolutely agree with your point about the free agencies. And Zach, I'm going to let you chime in here before I go. But I did just want to say that I agreed with that point and not agree with that point, but also hearing that point about him talking about it in free agency and talking about wanting to keep his guys. I kind of disliked what he said there just because it sounded like what you guys are saying, that he was going to do the same thing. I'm going to keep my optimism. I'll give my points in a minute here, but I was just going to I'll let Zach go before.
It's normal, Ballard, and I kind of agree with him, though, because if you want to keep chemistry, you want to keep the morale high within a locker room, you have to reward the guys that are producing on your squad before you go out, especially when they're unrestricted free agents.
To your point, EJ Speed even brought that up when we brought in Samson Ebicom. He said it on the podcast, their podcast in the trenches. He said when they brought him over, I guess one of his friends that was in the league that played for the Niners, he said, y'all getting a dog. And EJ said, well, I still got to go out and see him prove it. You coming on my team getting paid.
Yeah.
I got to see you prove it. So
yeah, it's just one of those things. And then it's like when you go ahead and release a guy, like, for example, if you let Kenny Moore walk, right? Like, you don't even offer him top money for his production, right? He goes somewhere else, and then you just bring somebody else in to replace him. What's that say to the rest of the locker room? So when it comes to when Ballard says he wants to pay his guys first, I kind of agree with that point. Pay your guys first. Focus on those guys. Get the guys that produced and you need to keep moving forward. Yeah, go pay those guys before you go out sniffing other players from other rosters that are under unrestricted free agents. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of agree with that point. But at the same time, I don't want him only to bring back the guys that we need to bring back.
100%.
Because
Zach, where are you at on this? Where what do you think Ballard will do?
I really think Ballard's only going to bring back Pittman Jr. and Kenny Moore, and then I hope he.
So you don't think he brings back Blackman?
Now hold on,
Grover Stewart, Lewis.
Let me ask you: are you only saying that because of the damn Colts coverage rumor that went out today?
No,
that we were almost at a deal with both of them because
I'm comparing,
it's aligning with that information and then with what you're saying now.
Yeah, yes and no. That, but also I look at like premium positions, D tackle. You can draft a fat guy.
Right here, Zach.
I agree with that.
Quality,
like I said,
quality
a big Will Fork style guy.
Right. quality receivers and DBs, they don't grow on trees every day. So when you have them, you got to pay them. And I feel like those are 1A and 1B, the big free agents. Because I'm still hopeful that, yeah, we can re-sign Grove, but we don't have to pay him big money because he's coming off a suspension. And he's 30 years old. So you can probably get him cheaper than most, because I truly believe no one's going to touch him because of that PED suspension. Typically things in the past. I don't think any team's going to touch him. And then beyond that, Blackman's been too inconsistent. And Ballard said in his press conference, if you're going to play safety from here on out, he wants consistency. So I think as good as Blackman is as a solid depth piece and being versatile, I think he's potentially gone. And then Tyquan Lewis, rotational piece. Everyone else, in my opinion, is a rotational
Tyquan
piece.
Lewis rotational with that damn injury tent. Tell you what.
Like,
And you know what? I love Tyquan Lewis. Big fan of Tyquan Lewis, but that dude is hurt every year, bro. Every year. It drives me nuts because every year I've said the same thing to you guys. Tyquan Lewis is that guy that seals the edge so perfectly. Like when he's on the field, it's there, but your best ability is availability, and he's just never. The dude hasn't played a full season yet in his career.
Yeah.
He
That's
plays,
why I really
plays one down a series. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I really think there's only two free agent in-house free agents you really have to award, because Ballard has shown he don't pay 30-year-olds. Hell, his first year they signed Josh Harrison to that 3-year, $27 million deal, and dude was cut after 1 year because he hit 30. Jabal Sheard, as soon as he hit 30, he was cut.
I don't know, man. I think play also goes into that as well, though.
didn't we have old boy from didn't we have
We had
Justin
Xavier
Houston?
Rhodes.
We had
we had
Justin Houston too.
But
We had Houston, I think, until he was 32.
But he was still
We
producing
signed
at
him.
30.
We signed him at like 30, 31.
At like
too.
30, yeah.
But he was producing well into his 30s.
But that's what I mean. So that's not necessarily a point. Like, it's basically like Ballard will keep a guy who's playing pretty average at around 26, 27, but getting closer to 30. I'm not going to pay you again unless you're overproducing, which makes sense. Why wouldn't you do it that way?
But that's the thing too, is you got to look at the position. Defensive line, this is weird, but they live longer in the NFL than any other position on defense. It's like both lines do, because
it's a little bit easier to produce on D line.
Right. So at the same time, 30 on the D line compared to 30 as a corner is like a 5-year difference. You can still get another 5 years out of a defensive lineman at a high level than you will as a defensive back at a high level at 30 to 35. That's my opinion on it.
Completely agree with that. I'm gonna jump in here real quick. So, in my opinion, man, like I said before, I didn't really like his take on the free agency stamp, because coming off of the season when he did the interview, he said we absolutely need to get more explosive on offense and defense. So I was thinking that this was going to come into this free agency, and I'm gonna hold this thought. I'm gonna keep it there until we completely get there. But I think that if Ballard sticks to his word, like I think he will, we will see a lot of changes. It won't be the same thing that we saw over the last 8 years. And I'm not saying it's going to be 3-4 guys or whatever. We're just going to go crazy spending money. But I think we re-sign a Kenny, a Grover, Michael Pittman. I think those would be the 3 that we probably re-sign. 2 in free agency is my hope. That's all I really want to see. I don't care if it's maybe 2 on defense, 1 on offense, 1 on defense, and just make two key free agency signings. Like we're saying here, we need to sign a big-time corner or defensive end that Michael Kaysen was saying here. But I just think that this is going to be, and it has to be, the year that he finally changes the philosophy of what he will do. I think that's going to be the case, and I hope he does, man. I really hope he does, because we just got to see some difference here. I think this is the time that I don't want to necessarily say go all chips in, but you got to have some chips in to be winning the division. It's got to be in on that.
So when it comes to all chips in, we ain't there yet. We ain't there yet. And I understand everybody's like, we have 70-something million cap. Everybody's excited about Anthony Richardson, but we still haven't
49 already.
We haven't seen even a whole month of Anthony Richardson yet to even know what kind of offense we're going to have to be able to build fully around Anthony Richardson. So at the same time, you can't really go into free agency and be like, we need to go bring in a guy like a Deebo Samuel. Let's go trade for Deebo Samuel, or let's go trade for, a Tyreek Hill, or, a Waddle, or one of these top wide receivers, when we don't even know if that's going to be our offensive game plan or our offensive scheme with Anthony Richardson. We only got a taste of it. And
Exactly.
and it's just not something I think we need to do offensively. I think if we're going to say we're all chips in for the division, we need to focus heavily on that defensive side of the ball. Because with Gardner Minshew, we were able to keep up with the offenses within the division offensively. And that was with Gardner Minshew. With Anthony Richardson, he was showing that he was able to even be better than the other teams in the division. So defensively, we need to play better against the division. That's where we need to go all chips on, not offense.
Defensively needs to be better than everybody, point blank, period.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Zach.
So crazy idea here, just because I think that Ballard actually might do this. Last year they said they went young at corner. Do you think that they don't they don't mess with the defensive line whatsoever, other than add a few pieces, but they just want to let this new coach see if the new coaching elevates guys, causes guys to grow before they, invest more draft capital or invest more money into that?
I want to go on this one, Matt, if you don't mind. I think absolutely not. There's no way in hell we can walk back into the season and pretty much just say we're going to re-sign Tyquan Lewis, and re-sign Grover, and who am I missing? Who was the other D tackle that we were just talking about the other day?
Taven
Bryan. Re-sign them and go back into the season and just say, let's hope this defensive line coach can make the difference. I think you have to go get a closer. Whether you think some rookie in the draft is going to be that guy to turn it up to another level, you have to. Because my thing is if you bank on Kwity to come back into this season to be your defensive end closer, and he does not, I feel like that is disingenuous to this entire coaching staff, the team, and the season, to just think that we're going to come back into the same thing. Like, you think about it, it was hard enough for us to get 51 sacks last year, and our pressure rate was still in the 20s. Like, that's just unacceptable. So, me personally, I think there's no way that you can go back into the season doing the same thing. I think you have to go get a closing pass.
We got two controllers. All right?
Yeah, go ahead.
We're literally one piece away on that defensive line, because I don't want to mess with Samson Ebukam. I think he's solid, and I think he's just going to develop, right? I think if we don't re-sign Grover, we definitely need to keep that position solidified, right? Which I think re-signing Grover is going to be the only way we can keep this defensive line intact. My concern is on the opposite side, and I think we have to get a guy that could be like a Max Crosby on the opposite side of Samson Ebukam, because here's the thing, that's gonna open up for Samson Ebukam. That's just gonna make his life easier.
And even if you do it with a rookie, to let Kwity know, like, hey, somebody's coming to take your job, bro. Turn it up.
Facts. That's why I personally want that 15th pick to go to the edge.
Dallas Turner.
Yep.
I hope he slips so bad.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it. That's the only reason why I brought it up. I was just interested in hearing it, because I often wonder, hey, Ballard last year said, we're going young. We're just going young in corner. And we got to see what we have.
I mean,
so I was curious, maybe they run it back. They add a few key pieces, and they want to see more out of Deo and Kwity, because I agree. I think they need another edge presence, but I also think that if they do make the big splash, this is just an example. I brought it up, DeMarco, and you shot it down. They don't re-sign Grover. They do go out and sign Christian Wilkins. Then I look at it like you essentially have two DeForest Buckners. Do you really need the edge threat? Because now you have
yes.
Now you're getting more pressure up the gut.
No,
that's why I asked that.
Hold on. Because here's the thing: we get pressure from up the gut. That's why it takes so long for us to get pressure, because that's where our pressure is coming from either way. We don't get pressure from the edge. We don't get any.
And,
We
and
don't-
exactly, and it'd be crazy to think
We
that
don't fix an issue.
Buckner and Wilkins will combine for what we would need 18 sacks from 2 defensive
Yeah.
tackles. Like
Yeah.
that's
No,
asking a lot for them to stop the run and go be pass rushers.
We have to get a guy that from the edge will create that quarterback to be uncomfortable in the pocket, but can't get out of the pocket at the same time. Because if you look at the way our pressure works, we're getting pressure from the interior, which is allowing these quarterbacks to run to the outside because we don't have edge guys that are sealing it. We're not creating that uncomfortable pocket for quarterbacks.
Right.
That's why I don't think releasing Grover and just replacing him with someone that has the same ability, maybe a little bit better with a pass rush, because it's not necessarily a pass rush. It's just creating, havoc.
Right.
I don't think it fixes any of the issues when it comes to getting pressure on the quarterback. That's why I think
I don't think so either.
We legit need somebody on the edge that's going to get
But
that.
I was curious, hey, you went out and got, a tier, Ballard calls them A+ money for B+, but you went out and got an A- guy in Wilkins, a dude who can do both. So I was curious if you go out and you sign another guy like DeForest. Wilkins is another guy like DeForest, not on that level that DeForest was when he was in his prime, but you sign another 3-tech like DeForest if that supplements that pass rush on the outside. Or you guys still, which it sounds like, Matt, you're pretty convicted. Same thing with you, DeMarco. You guys are pretty convicted on you want the edge pressure simply to clean up the mess.
I think
because if you look at the division and you look at how we got beat by guys like Trevor Lawrence and by CJ Stroud from them getting out of the pocket. If you have one of those elite edge rushers that are creating pressure from the edge, those crazy plays that those dudes make against us ain't going to be made.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
that was just my thought.
And essentially, if you're looking smaller picture, you're not looking to beat the whole NFL when you go into the free agency and what you need to do. You're looking at how do you beat your division? How do you win your division? That's why it's always the first main goal. So you got to look at, okay, what did CJ do? What did Trevor Lawrence do? I wouldn't say what did Tennessee do because they're trash and they're a fucking mess. But, you got to look at those two guys, CJ, Trevor Lawrence. Then you got to look at, what you have to do offensively, what you have to create offensively to be able to beat those teams, which to me is just AR5. So that's just my opinion. AR5 is going to be able to beat those defenses. But we got to look at what we got to do defensively to be able to slow down their offenses. And to me, I don't think it's our corners that are necessarily the problem as much as it is edge.
Absolutely agree. Yeah, and I agree with Matt there. I think I love DeForest Buckner. But there's no reason you should be asking your defensive tackle to be your star pass rusher all the time, and that's what he's been like every single time. But let's get into some of these other ones here. I know Ashley was asking about Mo. Appreciate you coming in, Chris.
Yes, cut Mo.
He's from Horseshoe Mob. He's from the Horseshoe Mob podcast. He's coming in. Appreciate you coming in. But yeah. I think last year was what we should have did. We should have took the chance that we had and trade him when he had some value. Now we're stuck with him on one more year. So do we cut him? I think it could be a cap casualty. I don't think Ballard will just because he loves Mo, but I'm also on the cut Mo clan there. Charles Decker was saying when we had the conversation about AR, not everyone is excited about AR. Sadly, he gets so much hate from these fake fans. It's sad as hell. Unfortunately, I haven't seen too much of the hate, and I've stayed away from the 3 fans that I've seen hate on AR, so I can't really comment too much on that one. But either way, if you hating on AR, you just sound crazy. Dude averaged 2 touchdowns in every half he played.
Real quick to go back to the Mo Alley Cox thing, because you said he was on 1 year deal. He is on a 1 year deal, but if we cut him, he has a $0 cap space. Or dead money. So if we cut him, we save the whole $5 million, $920,000 that
he's gone for sure.
So he has to be cut.
Was it $5 million? I thought it was 11.
It's $5 million. It's $5 million, $920,000. I'm looking at it right now, and over.
So we gave him money up
for
front,
sure.
then, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
that's how.
So if he gets cut, it's got to be a pre-June 1st cut, and It'll save us six mil. So
I was just about to
He's
say
gone.
if he does get cut, like if we were to go out on a limb and cut him, that means our 3 tight ends are going to be healthy coming into camp and should be ready to go.
I mean, you saw that
That's
video of Jelani. That's my boy.
Jelani, and the Rook.
Mo's a glorified fullback. Should have been cut last year.
I didn't mean to cut you off. You can go back to your point now.
Yeah, no, that was pretty much the rest of my point there. Actually, yes, Dallas Turner is the defensive end from Alabama. Bryson Dahl, appreciate you coming in. Is saying Jared Verse or Latu. I really like Jared Verse. I like his motor. Latu, I'm a little bit worried about Latu. I've been meaning to ask some people who really been taken to the combine and everything and really being up and close with some of these defensive ends. But
Got short arms.
I know well, it's not the arms that worry me, it's his injury history. So I've been meaning to ask around, like, because he had injury history for a long time. So I'm not sure if too many people are worried about how that might work out. Because if you already got the injury history, I'm worried about adding it. You know, so
True. I feel that.
So there's a
Mike was saying pressure off the edge would help take pressure off the backfield, back end.
That's the way I see it too.
Absolutely.
And I look at the back end as like they were rookies facing some of the best wide receivers in football all year. Like every single team had like a top 10, top 15 possible whatever receiver that had the ability to go off on anybody. Really, yep. and if you look at them, those wide receivers were doing it to every single team they played against. So, really, all the hate that we were given this secondary is, to me, it's a little unwarranted because the dudes that were torching us were torching everybody.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
These and they were rookies who essentially just developed, in my opinion, who just got great experience. They got, at least 60% more of the snaps than they were supposed to get throughout the season. So I would honestly just I'm okay with, Zach questioning whether we would go in with the defensive line being untouched with the new coach. I'm okay with seeing the assistant secondary coach, what he can do with these defensive backs. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah. As long as we address edge. I'm 100% okay with going in with the corners we have. Because we're going to get Isaiah Rodgers back. So
he's signed with the Eagles.
Oh, shit. That's right. Not Isaiah Rodgers. Dallas Flowers. My bad.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Don Arthur is saying trade whatever picks to get necessary to get Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah, we spoke with Zach about this earlier. I made the joke about it. Everybody would love for Junior to come to Indianapolis, man. It's just not going to happen. So
tell me how
him coming. It's not going to happen.
Tell me how Marvin Harrison Jr. fixes any of our problems.
It doesn't. It makes everything easier on the offense.
It potentially gives us an elite receiver, but we don't really know with a rookie. So it's like as much as we want to like
excuses for AR to be bad.
This second season is like Anthony Richardson's first rookie year all over again. I mean, I think it's I think this is crazy. I think it's ludicrous. I think it doesn't fix anything. It gives us an elite wide receiver that we don't even know if it fits the scheme. I don't
He'll
see
fit.
it.
I don't worry about it.
I also don't think it's smart to give up all of your
value
for a player that you don't know may possibly work out. Like if you want to put all your chips in the kennel for him, Ballard, then be my guest. But I don't. There's no reason to. I don't see.
No,
like
trade all that
even if you trade it up, I'd say trade up to like 8 or 9 and give up less and take Malik Neighbors. Like there's no reason to trade all the way up because I think that Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze are right there with Marvin Harrison Jr. So people keep using generational all they want to. It's not real.
Do you think Rome Odunze actually gets drafted before Malik Neighbors? I've read where the Giants are in love with Rome at 6.
Well, I think that's a rough question because they're, like I said, they're so close that you really don't know who may go with who first. I think like I've been listening to a ton of scouts per se, and a lot of them have Marvin Harrison at 1, and you can switch Rome. They've switched them. Some Rome, some Malik. So you don't really know. Me personally, my top 3 would be Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, and then Rome. But plenty of people have seen it differently. So, and to me personally, I really don't care which one you get. If you get one of the three, you're upgrading your team as long as you're staying where you are. I don't really believe in trading up for people because you don't know what you possibly miss out on. You give up a lot. I just don't think it's worth it. I think there's just too many. I think Brian Thomas Jr. might be better than almost any of the other receivers in this draft.
So if he can get his hands under check, I agree with that. If not, bro's got stone hands at receiver.
I'm gonna shift a little bit back to free agency because I was looking at Sport Track or Over the Cap again. This is insane to me. We have about 30 guys on the roster that we could cut that wouldn't affect our cap. Our highest paid player is Quentin Nelson this year.
Yeah,
he's getting 19 mil, but if we cut him, it's 37 mil dead cap. Like, bro, this is insane. There's almost there's a lot of people who aren't getting paid pretty much any guaranteed money.
That's what happens when you don't have a quarterback.
Good.
That's what Ballard gives people 3 and 2 year deals, man.
And everybody's complaining.
The only ones who get big
and
time deals are like DeForest.
I think that might be I think that might be inaccurate because Michael Pittman Jr. is on the guaranteed $21.8 million, so that should be the highest.
Yeah,
but he's not on the roster yet.
So I was looking at the wrong spot. So it's actually the cap hit this year, the highest is Quentin Nelson.
Okay, the highest cap hit. Okay,
the highest cap hit is Quentin Nelson with 25 mil. Because he's still getting a signing bonus. So he gets the 19 mil and then the 6 mil signing bonus, and then DeForest Buckner gets the 20 mil base salary with the 25 million or the 2,500,000.
Tracy Royalty, we totally agree. Quentin is needed. We are by no means saying cut these guys. Matt was just
looking at numbers.
Matt was just pointing out that if we did cut them, there is 0 dead cap. So when you cut a player and you just losing money, that's basically what he was saying. By no means are we saying cut any of these guys.
Hell yeah, we could cut Zaire Franklin right now. I'm just kidding. He's only getting paid $2 million, dude.
Yeah.
almost $3 million. That dude ain't getting paid
That's
nothing.
a bargain.
That's what I'm saying.
We got a couple coming in here. Michael Kaysen is saying draft a DM. We need players like Mathis Freeney. Leslie Turner is saying need an edge and a vet corner, wide receiver in the third.
All of our corners are now vet.
I disagree with that, Leslie. I do got to say we need a receiver within the first or the second round, me personally. I don't think that – I think that, like, there is a lot of talent at receiver in the third, but I think you still have to find one of these talented, explosive guys. Like I was saying before about Brian Thomas Jr., you bring that 4.33 speed to this offense, and it just gets that much better. So I think in the first or second round, like even we had Ashley saying there, Troy Franklin is good. I think he has a lot of speed. I don't necessarily see him as that all-around receiver that we necessarily want, that we need to start trending towards. But I think he could even be a good addition. But I think Troy Franklin is very similar to Alec Pierce, who we already have. But again, I do agree, Leslie, with the edge and vet corner. Well, yeah, edge, either way you want to go, vet corner. But I would say wide receiver in like the first or the second. So just plenty of ways to go in that area. But I think receiver, DN, and corner has to be our needs coming up here. Yeah, Tracy. Yeah, no doubt. No, we not cutting any of them. Don Arthur is saying, how about Christian Wilkins and Bryce Huff in free agency?
We're not getting both.
Yeah, Zach already commented on Christian Wilkins. He thinks that'd be a really good tandem to have with DeForest Buckner.
I think you get one or the other.
I think as far as Bryce Huff, he is a defensive end that I kind of would want, but it depends on the money because he only had 6 sacks last year, and I know that defense that he was playing on was loaded. So if we get him like on a Samson Ebukam type deal, I would like it. But where that worries me is, will he be a closer? Because we can't just have another guy that's just,
What's your thoughts on Grenard?
Well, he actually has a high pressure rate as well. So, I mean, it could be a really good one, but I don't think we would get both.
What about Jonathan Grenard? Just out of curiosity, you're taking away from Houston, which I'm always game for that. But is he that closer? I mean, he popped off a couple times versus us last year. That's why I was curious. That
He's a top-
playing game.
I'd take him, but again, he's not that closer. And then I think you would still have to draft one for sure. So
Hey, Ashley, you don't need to tag us in our own video.
Is Roman
yeah,
will no, he went to Michigan.
Don't listen to Zach about Roman Wilson. Zach just hates him. Don't listen.
Hey,
to
read what's underneath my name.
Do you
And you'll
trade
see-
back
you'll
for
see what I think
15
about
if
this.
Bowers is still also.
For
do you
one, we're
trade
not-
Bowers. Who's this?
I do not think Bowers is better than Jelani Woods. I don't think a tight end is worth a first-round pick.
I'm not taking a tight end in the first round.
No,
I wouldn't.
no, I'm not doing that. That's crazy to me.
Let me see real quick. So Jose Ortiz is saying, do you trade back from 15 even if Bowers is still on the board? Also, do you think Bowers is a better tight end than Jelani Woods?
Like, okay, let me answer this, please, because do you trade back from 15 as Bowers on the board? Well, it depends on who's calling, because if the Colts are in a prime position to get someone else at 15, there's no need to trade back. I'm not drafting a tight end in the first round.
No, if
Now,
there's
Bowers might be the better prospect than Woods coming out. Sure. Woods is a third, fourth round pick. But at the same time, look at it like this. Bowers day one has to be a Travis Kelce type of impact. And if he's not, anything less is unacceptable.
Listen. Yeah, and we talked about this before. If you take a tight end in the first round, especially 15th, and with all the hype around the guy, he needs to get wide receiver stats in his first year. I'm talking double-digit touchdowns. I'm talking 1,500 plus receiving yards. He needs to have a damn near 0% drop rate. He needs to have at least 8 to 10 targets a game, and our offense is not built for that. We have a rotational position at tight end. We have 5 tight ends that rotate through, and you have Michael Pittman Jr., who's the focal point of the passing offense. So I don't understand.
He needs to be better than Sam Laporta.
We're literally sitting in here with the idea of we want Michael Pittman Jr. to be re-signed. If we're re-signing Michael Pittman Jr. to top 5 money, that means we ain't going out and getting a tight end that needs to play at Hall of Fame, caliber his first rookie season, because that's just going to take away from the reason why we paid Michael Pittman Jr. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, not to me. It does not. Yeah,
Sorry.
Tracy Russell.
There's my
I
rant for the week. I tell you, it happens every time I come on the show.
I've had some very heated debates about it. Some people love to comment on the whole Bowers thing, and it's just too many different discussions about it. I just don't see it there. I tell people all the time, when people sit here and say, "Oh, the Final Four had 4 tight ends," I said, "Where were they taken?" None of them in the first round.
Third round picks.
And then when you sit there, Sam Laporta was a second round pick, but guess what? Dalton Kincaid was taken before Sam Laporta.
Mm-hmm.
And only 2 of them were really impactful throughout their season. Travis Kelce just kind of draws attention. He didn't really have a season that normally is Travis Kelce-esque. And then Sam Laporta had a damn good season. But then George Kittle was used more in the run game than he was in anything else. I don't even remember who was it. Mark Andrews?
Yeah, Mark Andrews. He was pretty much out for
all damn year
because he broke his tibia.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things where I'm just I get it. I guess if you trade back, then by all means, I guess I'd take Bowers within the 22, 23, 24 range, but. 15, top 15? Why? There's so much other talent on the board. It'd be insane to do it. Yes.
This doesn't work in the NFL, bro. This is not how this works in the NFL. Bowers makes quarterbacks better in college, sure, but tight ends don't make better quarterbacks in the NFL. It just doesn't work like that. This is damn near that college football and NFL football are almost 2 totally different games. And the tight end offense is not based around a tight end at all. saying that, we can sit here and say it's a generational talent.
Wait,
and I don't
define
understand-
generational talent.
Yeah, it doesn't
Because
make
Tom
sense.
Brady was a generational talent. He was a 6th-round pick.
Well,
It doesn't-
Tom
it
Brady
doesn't
wasn't a
make sense.
generation. Tom Brady wasn't a generational.
Well, he's
talent.
generational talent, dog.
He was not generational talent.
But what I'm saying is, when you throw that word generational talent around, is that supposed to like magically make you a 1st-round pick or something?
No,
Because,
so
like,
look, so my perfect example of generational talent. My bad, Zach. I didn't want to cut you off, but it's just that where you were going with it. I got where you were saying, but I just want to give a different example. So not a Tom Brady, because he was a 6th-round pick that became an anomaly. Which I also try and tell people that if you look at the NFL, they're filled with late-round picks, 3rd to 7th-round picks.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at this generational word, right, that Paul Nelson also threw out again, he's a generational talent. Trevor Lawrence was a generational talent who people said would be better than Andrew Luck. He was supposed to be the next Peyton Manning. And now the Jaguars are kind of thinking like, do we pay him or do we not? And look where they're at. So that's a generational talent where you have a question. You say, oh, it's different for quarterbacks. Then I say, okay, how about we go to my Florida boy, Kyle Pitts. He was a generational talent. He had one good year, and now look at him in Atlanta.
He didn't make any quarterback better. Didn't make any quarterback better. Has fallen off a cliff, and whatever you want to call it. Like, it's just one of those things. Like, I don't want to sit there and keep going off about Brock Bowers because most people think I hate him when I start going on this layaway of routes that I do. No,
it's just like, hey,
don't take him on the first
you
round.
hater.
Just don't
You
take him in the
hater.
first round. Even go to the guy. If you want to tight end so bad, take Jatavian Sanders in the 2nd round. But I just see no reason with how much talent is in this draft that you force a pick of tight end. I just don't see it. Don't see the upside. People can say whatever they want, but the numbers just don't add up to it.
But then my question is having the best tight end in the business, what is that going to do for us? What does that do for us? It does absolutely nothing for us. Teams don't win Super Bowls because of tight ends.
Dog, yes. Thank you, Matt. I want one of these, dog.
That's all I care about is getting a ring, and you don't win Super Bowls because of a tight end. You just don't. Peyton Manning did not win a Super Bowl because he had Dallas Clark. Peyton Manning won Super Bowls because he had Hall of Famer Marvin Harrison and future Hall of Famer Reggie Wayne. He also had 2 Hall of Fame defensive edge.
When they also won that Super Bowl, I'm pretty sure Peyton Manning threw for, I want to say it was less than 200 yards, and we had like 196 yards on the ground.
Joseph Adai went off.
We had
a running back that did nothing. It went off, and that was the reason we won the Super Bowl. You don't win Super Bowls because of a tight end. It's just not what it is. I don't understand this.
Matter of fact,
this whole situation was created because the media started hyping up the fact that they had top tight ends at the end of the season, the playoffs. The top, whatever, the last 4 teams, but those 4 tight ends were not the reason teams won the Super Bowl. They weren't.
Yeah, and this is the last point I want to make about it because it's just people are gonna feel like I hate Brock Bowers, but it's just one of those things where I kept saying not to take a tight end, even take a receiver, and people were like, well, look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They chose a tight end, Travis Kelce, over a receiver, Tyreek Hill. And I say, no, they did not. Go back and look what they did. When they traded Tyreek Hill, they drafted rookie wide receivers to go younger, yes, but they loaded up on their defense. Look how they've won the last year and a half. It's all been on defense. They built up on defense. They got the rookie Trent McDuffie. They drafted George Karlaftis. They got a bunch of guys on the defensive side of the ball, and that's how they got it done. So you can say you can't keep saying Kansas City Chiefs when they have the best quarterback on planet Earth, first of all, and then they have Travis Kelce. They also have Andy Reid. You have to include those things in your solution to the problem.
They also Pacheco. Again, Pacheco.
7th round back.
Did everybody forget what Pacheco did this year? What he did in the playoffs? What he did in the Super Bowl? We can't sit here and say it's because of Travis Kelce.
The Chiefs to the Super Bowl, man. Like the
That's
Chiefs
it.
run game and defense won them that ring this year. Like consistently.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, let's jump into another one, man. Again, I just want to say, like I said, I do not hate Brock Bowers. I just think the range for him should be 22 and up. If we trade back to 22, add a 2nd round pick, and we take Brock Bowers at 22, I'm not mad.
Yeah, because guess when we took Dallas Clark at 24.
So exactly my point. Like it's just one of those things where I think you got to put the positional value to it. Like Zach has mentioned plenty of times, we need premier players at premier position, and just tight end is just not one of them.
It just kind of goes back to when we said, hey, how do we beat our division? Right? That's essentially what we're looking at. How do we win the division? I'm not really looking at tight end, as tight end is going to be the magic fix to beating teams like Houston or Jacksonville.
Exactly.
Right? It's really going to have to be,
being able to score points.
Be able to score points, which we've shown we can do with AR without,
and with Minshew.
Yeah, and with Minshew. It's essentially keeping those offenses from being able to move the ball.
Off the field. Exactly. Go defense. So yeah, Don Arthur is saying, what do you guys think of Tyler Huntley for our backup QB?
You can go back a few weeks, and I think this is the guy we all named for our backup QB. I'll say this: I saw a video the other day from the couch. They said that they think Gardner Minshew should be like our premier free agent signing. Like he's got to be priority to bring back Gardner Minshew, and I think that's a little crazy to me. I like Minshew, but at the same time, we had to change so much of our offense. And if you get a guy like Tyler Huntley, you don't have to change that much of the offense. You can go ahead, bring him in. If AR gets hurt, cool. We get to run the same style offense. And that's essentially what we've all agreed on moving forward. In the past, we've all said that.
I'm moving to Tyrod Taylor.
I wouldn't mind Tyrod either.
Why? Because every time he goes to a team, he ends up getting hurt, and then that quarterback ends up going off.
I mean, that's slightly part of it, but he's worked with Shane. He's worked with Shane. He's worked with Shane Steichen before, and he's a solid backup. So I think that just kind of.
I'm good with Tyrod. I'm good with Tyrod too, just as long as we don't have to change the offense as much as we did with Gardner.
Exactly, and that's the exactly reason why I want Tyrod. Chad was saying, can Brock Bowers block? As far as I know, he's about as good as a blocker as what we currently have, so I don't think that's the right one. Paul was saying, do you think this is the year Ballard makes a move up front? I don't exactly know what you mean by makes a move up front. I don't know if you mean trade up. If anybody thinks we're going to trade up for Marvin Harrison Jr., please get that out of your head.
I think we trade up. I just don't think it's for Marvin Harrison Jr. I think if the Colts do trade up, it's for a pass rusher.
Exactly.
Like a dude that they were. Yeah.
Ashley is saying here she likes the Jadavion Sanders. Yeah, exactly. Totally agree, Zach. Ashley saying she likes Jadavion Sanders from Texas. Exactly. If you want a tight end. Some more tight end. Tracy Royalty is saying that tight end was open when no one else was.
You also gotta look at some of these. You also got to look at some of these other tight ends that Peyton Manning played with, and essentially Peyton Manning kind of made these guys, man. To be completely honest, I mean, he had dudes like Jacob Tammy,
Who in the world was Julian Thomas before Peyton Manning showed up in Denver?
Yeah, who the hell is Jacob? Who the hell was Jacob? Who the hell was Jacob Tammy? You know what I mean? Like, and that dude had good seasons. So, and I'm not saying anything against Dallas Clark. I love Dallas Clark, but he also went to Baltimore and did nothing. So,
what are we laughing at?
The comment right here.
Minshew sucks. I agree. He does suck. Trash.
Matty Ice is saying, who would it be for if not Marvin Harrison Jr.? I'm assuming you're saying if we were to trade up, who would it be for? Or I think you're asking the person who asked about trading up. Like I said, I think if you trade up into the top 10, like Zach was saying, it'd be a pass rusher that you're trading up for, like a Jared Verse if he was still on the board after 8 or something like that. Could also be for a receiver, Malik Neighbors, or it could be for Terrion Arnold at corner. I love Terrion Arnold. I actually saw a comment up there.
You have him higher than Kool-Aid now?
Absolutely, dude. He's way better than him.
Me too, but why did Kool-Aid get all the hype coming out of Alabama? Like,
I think it was because of his name.
What in the world? Arnold is hands down better. Yeah, Harold too. He's a dog. We were just talking about him in the podcast the other day.
I want You
I was
gotta
just
talk
about to say it's a
this guy
good
right
thing
here.
Trev's not here. It's a good thing Trev's not here because he'd be
So,
spilling his juices on his computer right now.
I do have a comment about this though, because it doesn't make sense to draft a linebacker for pass rush ability when our linebackers aren't pass rushers. It doesn't fit our defensive scheme. That's my only argument against this.
No.
Because-
He's not a linebacker. He's one of those
He's an athlete.
labeled
He does everything.
linebacker, but he's really a pass rusher. He's like T.J. Watt. They call him a linebacker, but he's a pass rusher.
Yeah, but those are those guys that we use defensive end edge rushers, not linebacker style edge rushers. So that it's
I get what you mean.
linebacker
You're talking
edge
about like
rushers are typically standing up in a 3-4 defense, but you have defensive end edge rushers who are down in a 3-point stance because it's a 4-3. We play a 4-3, so essentially a Harold Perkins or like a T.J. Watt, they don't fit our style of defense.
Gotcha.
That's
TJ
my
talking
only
about
Watt
argument.
scheme. You talking about
TJ
scheme
Watt
wise.
fits any style of
Yeah.
defense. You stand him up.
I mean, I agree. I'm all for it. We've talked about this before. I want to see that type of disguise up front. Start standing these dudes up, standing up whoever you want. I mean, we started doing it last year. I saw Buckner stand up a few times. So I mean, I'm all for that. Stand everybody up if you want to and make them guess. It'd be like that 2008 fucking Steelers defense. You never knew who was coming because there were 7 dudes up front standing there looking at you, and you're like, oh, okay, who the fuck am I blocking?
That's what I'm hoping we get out of our guy out of Charlie
Yeah.
Petrus this year, man. He got some fronts, boy. I hope he gets to implement them and use them.
I forgot all about
Dave-
Brian Fletcher.
Yeah, I was going to say Dave Stewart's coming here.
Mr.
saying Peyton
Suggestion.
made Brian Fletcher. I mean, it's one of those things. Leslie saying Shane is the man. Absolutely. I think it'll be something that'll be really good for us. I think he could turn this offense up to another level if we really get explosive. Zach, right here, Chad is agreeing with me about Kool-Aid, saying it was his name because Terrion Arnold, I think, was the better corner overall. Paul is saying, what are your personal thoughts on Caleb Williams?
He's the
I
next
think
bust.
Matt's totally different than me. I think he's the next Patrick Mahomes if he can go to a solid system. I think
He's the next
dude is
Johnny
that-
Manziel.
I think dude is that good. Problem is I think that if he goes to the Bears, he will be exactly what Matt was saying. But I think if he can go to a solid system, I think he'll be very good.
Next Johnny Manziel. That's what that guy is. Next Johnny Manziel.
I hope
You heard
not.
it here first. You heard it here first. For one, he's a Pac-12 quarterback, so we've all seen how those pan out.
Disclosure: I do not believe in the
does
college,
not.
the college
doesn't.
area quarterbacks type stuff. I think a guy can be good no matter where he comes from.
He does not. But I'm just saying, I don't like the guy at all, one bit.
I think he could be really good. Don Arthur is saying Minshew had no pocket awareness. He would get nervous in the pocket and step up in the pressure. He missed a lot of open receivers. Also, man, I disagree with you and agree with you and then disagree with you again.
Paul,
no.
you just want to argue tonight, Paul. Hold on, man. You could go ahead and finish this one.
no,
I
that's
want to
Don.
answer Paul.
Oh,
No, I know.
you're
I want
talking
to
about
answer
something
Paul
else.
after this.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah, my bad. Yeah, so
Paul just finna make me mad.
Don, I don't know what it is about Minshew's pocket awareness. I do think it's a little off. But when you say he gets nervous, there'll be some times where it actually works. So it's like, it's I would call it pocket inconsistency is what I would call it. Because if you think back to some of the games like the New England Patriots game where he hits Josh down on that play and we get the first down and pretty much win the game off of it. That'd be one of those ones where I'm like, okay, yeah, it worked. Then you say he missed a lot of receivers. You think about the Houston Texans game where Alec Pierce is running open up the left sideline and Minshew doesn't throw the ball. Then I agree with you. And so it's a tough one, man. I personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Minshew, or I wouldn't say I'm not the biggest fan, but I thought he was good. I thought he got us through the season. I thought he managed the team well, but it's something that I would not like to see for another year. It's kind of like how Irsay kicked Carson Wentz out of the door. That's pretty much
Because he wouldn't get vaccinated.
like I'm like, I don't really want to see it again. Go ahead, Matt.
I don't. This comment just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't
to me.
matter who we draft the GE if we don't.
All right,
blitz.
Paul.
We don't blitz anyway,
Hold on,
Paul. Like,
hold on,
We're a
man.
four. All right, go ahead, Matt.
Because I've been waiting. I saw it and I was like, okay. I was able to damn near cut him off to go off on this one.
Barbecue chicken. Go ahead.
The reason you need to draft a premier defensive end, a pass rusher, is because we don't blitz. A defensive end is just your normal 4-man rush. So if we don't blitz, essentially you need a guy on the outside who's elite enough to get there without bringing an extra man. It just fits that style that Gus likes to play. Blitzing doesn't always fix the issue, especially when our linebackers can't cover fucking shit if they were a fly. So I don't understand what you mean by it doesn't matter who we draft as a defensive end if we don't blitz, because a defensive end and blitzing are two totally different things and doesn't matter.
Oh, a new D coordinator. I'm kind of thankful we have Gus. I mean, I do agree to a certain.
What'd you just say?
You heard me. You heard me.
Matt, did we just hear that out of Zach's mouth? No way.
You heard me. I'm thankful that we have this man this year.
Oh
as
God.
much as I hate the scheme that he has, I know DeMarco, enjoy it. Cut this out. Turn this into your shorts, all right? Because I've been killing Gus all year. I'm thankful we don't have to deal with the turnover, and I honestly think defensively we're close. You know, a few more pieces, I think we're actually really close, and you can kind of see the vision.
Appreciate you, Paul.
Yeah.
Like, while I do agree, personally, I would love to see a new defensive coordinator. I would say that how the Colts are currently built, this scheme that we're running fits the personnel to a T. And Ballard
not having a defensive end.
Yeah.
Right, but not blitzing.
That's why we need to draft him.
Right.
Well, see how we all circled back.
But I'm thankful we have Gus. But I agree with you on this, Paul. I think this is Gus Pruvich year. He has to be better, because if he's not better, then I think he's getting the axe. He should.
As long as Ballard gets him the pieces he needs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because
to keep getting the pieces he needs, because I think he did pretty good with Jones and Brent last year.
Yeah.
I agree. I just hate when we sit here and we keep putting coaches on the hot seat when realistically, you know, their whole roster got lit up on fire last year, especially on the back end. And then, you know, so I do think that Ballard just needs to give him a couple more guys that allow him to do what he fully wants to do. Because I also think that his hands were tied a little bit last year with what he was capable of doing. And he was trying to keep the scheme the way he wanted it to with these young guys, and it just wasn't working. So
for sure. I'm going to run through a couple comments here. I do want to say, Zach, I do appreciate the fact that you said that to start it off, when you said you were happy that we didn't make the changes to start, because I looked at a lot of the DC hires and the offensive coordinator hires this past offseason. They were not good. A lot of people were recycling old people and hiring their friends and stuff like that. So I was very happy to not become a part of that, just because I think a lot of teams are about to be ruined again this year for what they did. Dave Stewart was saying the sample size AR jaded us with a bit with Gardner Minshew. It made Chris Ballard look worse than he was. Absolutely. But I also think it was something that made Steichen look really good, because of the fact that he could still put up 25 points a game with Gardner Minshew as a backup. Then what was it? I do want to say, I didn't know if either of you guys wanted to comment on this one, but Paul was saying Ballard needs to nail this draft, or it'll be on him.
I don't think he has to nail the draft. I don't think he has to nail the draft. He has to nail free agency.
100% agree.
I think he's nailed almost every draft for 8 years except for maybe one, and I think it was his first draft that he didn't nail. And I think those are the only draft picks that are still not on this roster. I think the only one that's still here is Quentin Nelson. So essentially, he doesn't really need to nail the draft. I think we all hope he does, because if he does, boy, I'm calling the division. But he needs to nail free agency. And I think this year is the year that everyone is expecting him to nail free agency. And he needs to stop with the cookie cutter answers that we hear every year to the media. And he needs to, you know, just stop with the go get someone that you know is going to change the roster. Not that you think could do it just because you like what he's slightly done. You need to go get a guy that you know, okay, I'm bringing him in. This is going to excite our fans. Stop worrying about just the roster. Worry about the fan base because we're about tired of some of these guys that you bring in that don't do nothing. And
The same shit.
You sign special teams fucking guys. I don't give a fuck about the special teams. Put Zaire Franklin out there. He can play special teams. It's one play. It's one fucking play.
Draft some rookies to play fucking special teams.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about bringing in a guy like Isaiah McKenzie who spent all year only playing fucking special teams. I don't give a shit about that. Draft me a fucking wide receiver or sign an undrafted free agent. Put him back there returning fucking kicks. That's just me. That's me. I'm so tired of bringing in guys that just play special teams. They can play that one play on kickoff or kick return. They'll be all right. I promise.
Yep. And Matt said it's just him. It's not just him. I totally agree with him. So Paul, you came up with a good point, but I think it's just flipped in reverse for us here. I think the draft, Ballard always does good with the draft. And like Matt was saying, you go 1 through 3 in the draft in the first rounds and you get some explosive upcoming talent, boom, you're good. And then you go rounds 4 through 7 and you want to add some guys that can play special teams well and give your other guys more time on the field. That's where I think it needs to be. But I think free agency is where it needs to be nailed here. You need to bring some guys in that are going to come in and be instant difference makers along with your first 3 draft picks and really make a difference for this team. So, because, I just don't know, like, how much longer we can go without winning the division or making the playoffs and him still be around. So,
Yo,
I think you
talking Ballard? Like, this is it, in my opinion. Like,
We've been saying, listen, but we've said that every year. We've said it every year. We think this is it. We think this is it. But then we see that the issue is because we're seeing the potential of the roster. We've had a lot of unfortunate events that have happened. Like the Andrew Luck retirement. I get that. That's done. That doesn't affect us today, right? And then he kind of made an excuse for himself with the whole QB carousel we went through. That's your fault. You didn't fucking address it when you should have, in my opinion. We should have been able to get a guy like Justin Herbert, or that year was the draft. I think we should have traded up and got a quarterback. But that's here nor there. I think this last season, this season alone, was just unfortunate circumstances that we saw the potential of the roster, right? When we had Isaiah Rodgers get suspended, then you had Dallas Flowers get hurt. Julian Blackmon got hurt down the stretch. Then you had Anthony Richardson who was out. You had Jonathan Taylor who was out, who essentially kind of proved that Chris Ballard knows how to trade because he fleeced the shit out of Buffalo. And I mean, I don't know. It's just
and the Bucs tried to claim that they were going to make that trade up for Jonathan Taylor, but we beat them to it. So that's when you got. Joshua Merchant is saying that I've heard rumors about us trading for L'Jarius Sneed from Kansas City. If that's true, I don't think we should give up our first round pick for him.
Unfortunately,
I think Ballard. I think Ballard.
I believe we can go. Yeah, so I believe it's all rumors, but I believe we can go directly to them and get a second round pick to make a straight up trade, second round pick for L'Jarius Sneed from Kansas City, and then we have to pay him, agree to a contract like we did with DeForest Buckner. Then there's the other situation where we can make him a qualifying offer sheet for whatever price, and then they would be forced. They could trade him or whatever if they don't match the offer. But we have to send 2 first-round picks. So I also don't want to give up 2 first-round picks. But if we can get them for a second, I think all of Colts Nation would be happy with that.
But you guys also got to remember that when these rumors come out, it's just the fact that when you see the things that are like, oh, show interest, or the Colts called whoever, or these teams reached out. Reaching out doesn't necessarily mean the Colts even made an offer. Essentially, it could have just been Chris Ballard saying, hey, what are you guys asking for, and what's the asking price? And then they probably, announce it. And then Ballard, knowing Ballard, is probably like, yeah, no, I ain't giving that up.
Exactly.
Or, he maybe made an offer and they were like, no, that's too little. What else you got? Give me this. And he's probably, no, you can go get fucked. That's it's not necessarily just because we made the call that we're actually in 100% on trying to trade for Sneed.
Oh, I absolutely would, though.
I would too. Yeah. If it's the situation that DeMarco just said for a second round pick, fuck yeah, dude. That's a steal. That's a bargain.
I'd give up a first.
I wouldn't.
I'd give up one first. I would give up one first round pick for him.
That means we have to give up 15 this year and pay Sneed. No,
I would do that.
I'm not doing that.
Are the Colts waiting on a Jefferson deal to reset the market before they nail down Pittman Jr.? No, I hope the fuck God they're not.
No, they're not
This-
even. They're not even the same market.
This
so
would
that
this
wouldn't-
would be the dumbest thing that the Colts could do if we were waiting for the best wide receiver ever to get repaid, or not ever, but the best wide receiver in the game today to reset the market so that we have to pay Michael Pittman Jr. more. That's crazy to me. That's
Yeah.
crazy to me.
Yeah, I agree with Matt. No further need to allude there.
Yeah, no.
Cody is saying this year's free agency is stacked. It would be dumb if he doesn't pick up people. Absolutely. Like I said, it doesn't even have to be a lot of people. Just
Give
two.
me Curtis Samuel.
I'm just
Give me
saying,
Curtis Samuel.
Give me two people that are going to make a difference for this team, whether it be offense or defense, or two on defense. And if it's two on offense, I might lose my shit. But
Yeah.
one on each side, two on defense. If that's the way you go, just go get some people.
Give me a Curtis Samuel. I like Curtis Samuel.
Ooh, Dave giving us a good one here. Who is your free agent guy? That has to be free agent. Where you at, Zach? Who's your has to be? Who's your must?
Okay. Like from outside? Oh, geez.
Yes. Who's your must-have free agent from the outside? I'm assuming this one.
Justin Simmons. Safety
Yes.
from Denver.
Bro, that
Okay.
would be oh,
Just because.
dude. Then you don't
because he's the
re-sign Grover
perfect
for
fit.
sure. Then you don't re-sign Grover. Now you got Buckner and Justin. Or no, I'm thinking somebody
No,
else. That was Jeffrey
yeah.
Simmons. Yeah.
Jeffrey.
No, my bad.
I wish
Just
Jeffrey
the-
Simmons was a free agent.
Bro, boy, dude, I just about. Oh my god, I was really thinking Jeffrey Simmons.
He was thinking of the wrong
thought-
Jay Simmons.
I thought Jeffrey
No.
Simmons with DeForest Buckner and said, "What the fuck? Why'd I ever argue for
Yeah.
Grover? I wouldn't even, boy. Let
Yeah,
Grover
that
walk.
I
Bring
would
that
get
boy
No.
in here." Whew, and then
Justin
oh,
Simmons.
Justin Simmons.
Bring him,
Justin
bring him.
Simmons, the safety from the Denver Broncos. I believe he's
Yeah.
30 years old. I believe a 4-time All-Pro, 3-time Pro Bowler.
On a 2-year deal, just something small, nothing crazy, and you just, hope it works out.
I'm going with Daniel Hunter.
Oh, you're gonna pay that man?
Yes. I think he's the top edge guy that's available. They can't tag him.
He is.
Minnesota can't tag him, so he's definitely available.
Okay. So my top has already been taken. Unfortunately,
Kirk Cousins.
No. Hell no. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of Kirk Cousins truthers. Like, people calling him the best free agent quarterback on the market right now. I'm just not a.
You like that?
I am not a Kirk Cousins guy. Like, no, my
Yeah.
Cousins is a Vikings fan. I trash him all the time. Like, that is
You don't like that?
No,
You don't like that?
no, not at all. I am just not about it. But Brian Burns was my guy. Brian Burns was the guy I wanted most. And then after him came Jalen Johnson, and both of them got tagged or signed. So that kind of killed it for me. So as of right now, if I had to say my number one free agent off the top of my head that I wanted to get,
Naheem Hines.
I'm gonna say Xavier Howard just because I would want a corner. I can get a vet corner that I know can play some ball. That'd be my number one if I had to pick right now at this moment. It'd probably be Xavier Howard that I go with just to lock down that vet corner spot in that room.
You don't want Kendall Fuller?
No. I mean, it's not that I don't want him, but he just wouldn't be my number one. With all these damn rules, special teams.
Dude, right. See? And I even thought about that when I said it. I even thought about it. I was like, these motherfuckers can go ahead and we could just why even sign people just to play special teams when there's so many rules? Dudes don't even touch each other on special teams anymore. You might as well just go ahead and put your whole starting offense out there for kick return. Let fucking goddamn Anthony Richardson return that shit. Fair catch that shit every time. Why does it matter? Who cares? We don't need none of these extra half-ass dudes wasting our money.
Yeah.
Cut every single person that's making six figures that is on special teams. Cut them all, and then use all that money to go bring in elite fucking players, and they can go stand on the field for the special teams when they just kick the fucking ball. That's it. That's all you gotta do. It don't matter anymore. There's so many rules that you don't even move on kick return or kickoff anymore. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
That's an
pretty-
idea.
Michael is saying here Ballard's best drafts are in 3, 4, 5 rounds. Hopefully, it can be first and second this year.
All right, don't forget about second. He's crushed second round too.
Yeah. Timothy is answering a question about from Cody saying this isn't Colts related, but do you think Russ is done and going to retire? Timothy was saying Russ will probably end up with Steelers, maybe Falcons. Paul was saying I really hope JT. Did you want to chime in on that, Zach?
Yeah, Russell Wilson is going to go to New England.
No, he's not.
Yes.
No, he's not.
I'm telling you, he's going to go.
New England.
No, he's not.
Bro, he's going to go to New England for 1 year, rehabilitate his image.
They're not a great running team. They have no weapons.
The guy that they draft is going to sit for a whole year. Russ is going to show them the rope. They got $90 million in cap.
Hey, we are up to 26 viewers. I appreciate all of y'all, man. Appreciate y'all.
They got $90 million in cap. New England's going to make some changes. So I just think Russ for a year in New England. Why not go to the north?
Zach, tell me this, Zach. They got 96 million in cap, right? Tell me, you a top 20 or top 40 to 25 player, 20 player in the league. Is one of your first considerations really going to New England to maybe play with Russell Wilson or Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi?
$20 is $20, bro. So, I mean, if they're going to offer me the most money, I'm going where most money's at.
Oh, jeez. All right, well, I guess some players may go there. But
I've heard rumors that Justin Fields they're talking about Justin Fields going to Atlanta. Supposedly Atlanta and Chicago's been in talks about making that happen. I actually see Russ going to Pittsburgh almost 100%. Like to me, that's really the only place that essentially makes sense.
You don't think he goes to New York?
Which New York? The Giants?
Giants.
No, the Giants don't even know what they're doing anymore.
They got fucking dimes that paid that man $40 million a year.
They're done with him.
They can't afford to bring in another fucking vet quarterback.
He's on a minimum.
Russell Wilson's gonna end up being a fucking dead cap of the league.
Russell Wilson gets paid $39 million this year regardless. You can sign for a vet minimum.
I could be like Russell Wilson and be like, nah, pay me.
Yeah.
I take Russell Wilson for 1.5 million. Or 1.2, whatever it is. I'd take him as a backup. With all those defensive backs being cut, do you see us going corner and safety in free agency? Absolutely, we should. I'd be ecstatic if we went both of those positions, to be truthfully honest with you. Dave Stewart is saying that he'd take Trey White if healthy, cut over Howard. I mean, I kind of think that's fair, Dave, but I don't know, man. I really like Xavier Howard and what he can do. So I personally couldn't say that I would take that straight up, but I would also take Trey over like a Dallas Flowers, who we also have recovering from an injury. But I mean, I feel like it's almost splitting hairs, but I think Xavier Howard being healthy has got to be the pick. But I wouldn't really debate with you over it. I wouldn't be mad for either of them. Just the tough part is Trey's coming back from an injury.
Man, our comments are popping.
Man, going crazy. I tell you, we got a lot of people and everything. I appreciate you. Leslie is saying, I'm sick of 3rd and 15. I get pissed off the next play 1st and 15.
Oh, yeah, we've got full episodes.
I'm not even about to. Yeah, I was about to say, I'm not even about to go into this. Me and Matt went off. I had this on our shorts and YouTube. We need to get that fixed.
Yeah,
that's all I'm going to say about it.
Hey, I fist bump you back, Chad. I got you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Chad. I know you weren't in here early like you normally do, but appreciate you coming through as always. Everybody starving for football. What would you think of bringing in Quatez Watkins, the rookie out of North Carolina? Me personally, I don't know if these guys have anything to chime in on it, but I'm going to say, me personally, I wouldn't think much of it unless it was for like a 4th-round pick, something like that. I'm not totally high on him.
At the Senior Bowl.
Okay, yeah, he's not somebody that I necessarily have been looking at, but that's just where I'm at with that. Michael is saying, I love this podcast. You guys do a great job, and I appreciate it as a diehard Colts fan. Thank you guys. Rise up, Colts Nation. Appreciate you, Michael, man. Appreciate all y'all, man. Y'all been going crazy for us, and now we got a lot of views, a lot of comments. So appreciate everybody that's come through tonight for us. Paul is saying Drake May will be in New England. Wouldn't hate it, but guy needs some weapons, man. They still need O-line work. Need some weapons. Russ is pretty much a free due to Denver paying him. Absolutely. Another Wilson is free. I think Leslie is saying hell no to Russell Wilson to me saying he'd be the backup. I'm just saying for the price. That's all I meant, man. I'd take Russell Wilson for 1.2 or 1.5 or whatever it is over Gardner Minshew for $3 million.
Do the halftime shows here in Indy, so like we can make it happen. Like it can be done.
Yeah, I'm mad at Paul is saying Xavier McKinney in free agency. He's on my list, so I hope we can get him. What is it? We definitely Cody is saying we definitely need corner help. So
I'm
we
good with
stop
our corners.
getting burnt.
I'm good with them. We get our help when Dallas Flowers comes back. I'm good with our corners. Essentially, we said this earlier. We'll say it again. I think our corners just kind of got thrown in a situation that they weren't prepared for because they were rookies. They weren't supposed to play that much. They played more than we expected them to going into the season, and they got good experience, in my opinion. I think they're going to develop into something better than what they were last year. Plus, they face top receivers in the league every week. So what those receivers did to our corners, they did to every corner in the league. Chad says, I can't see Russell Wilson in Colts blue.
I mean, I'm just look. You guys got to stop quoting me on that one because I'm not saying I just want him here. All I'm saying is Russell Wilson, not prime, not whatever, but the guy threw for 3,500 yards and more TDs than Gardner Minshew, and we could get that for like 1.2, 1.5 million, whatever the price may be. I'm just thinking about that. The price, just that price tag for 1 year to be a backup. Like, imagine if we needed him. Like, I just think that could work with Steichen, man. That's all I'm saying. Michael's saying, I'm pretty sure Ballard can see that we don't pressure the QB. I mean, we hope. Man. I'm gonna be honest with you. We hope. I think we all of us have I'd say pretty different ideologies of what we see can be done. But I think it's all still close to the same too. I think the good thing is none of us are panicking over quarterback like we've done the past couple of years. So I think that's really something that should be spoken on itself. I think this is what gives us the most panic is over the last few years it's been quarterback. And now we've finally been able to expand out, and now we're fighting over cornerback, DN, receiver, tight end, whatever you may want. And I think that just goes a lot to show and say how far we've come.
You also got to think money-wise. We aren't paying any other quarterbacks now.
Exactly. So I think cap-wise, trajectory-wise, I think all of us feel like if we can win 9 games with Gardner Minshew and a defense that was 22nd in pass rate, I think all of us think that we should be only going up from here.
Agreed.
Still got more comments popping off in here.
I agree. I love Juju.
Yeah, Don is saying you guys do a great job on this podcast.
That's a big one. I appreciate that.
Hey man, for real, really appreciate that. Appreciate you, Don. Appreciate you coming in. Appreciate the words, man. That's where we want to work up to. We're not trying to compete with Pat. We'd even love to be able to be a part of or go on his show or something like that. So appreciate you for real. Leslie saying he does. I'm guessing you're saying
he doesn't want to be a wide receiver. He doesn't want to be a backup.
I mean, I think that's totally fair. I mean, but if nobody wants you and you can still get paid $1 million to go be a backup, and think about it, we had 15 backups last year. So by all means, go get money and do whatever. I'd love to see a marquee receiver and any other improvement. I think we personally all would, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't mean to say to replace Pittman, but I think all of us would love to have multiple weapons, which I think
personally
any of us
Downs.
think
I
Jelani
think we already
Woods
have
could
him.
be.
Josh Downs.
Yeah.
Josh Downs and Jelani Woods. I mean, if y'all didn't notice, Josh Downs,
Oh,
his play fell off when AR got hurt.
you know what?
So
I actually I just remembered. Where are you guys at with this? Because I just found out that I'm pretty sure the Bengals are not going to re-sign Tyler Boyd. How would you guys feel if we tried to pursue Tyler Boyd and him being in this offense? Zach, you
Solid.
had any thoughts on that one?
He's a solid number 2. I mean, my dad's a diehard Bengals fan, so like I've literally seen the dude his entire career. Before T. Higgins showed up, Tyler Boyd was a problem. Like,
Oh yeah,
he's gonna route guys up. He's an incredible route runner and super reliable on third downs. He would be an awesome complement to Pittman Jr., Downs, and Boyd on the outside.
yeah, I agree.
I mean, I know everyone shits on Pierce because they don't like Pierce because, for whatever reason, but playing receiver in the NFL is hard. And what they asked Pierce to do, what Shane asked Pierce to do is unique because I don't know of another offense that has a receiver travel and just run fades like that. And
Most of the time he was open. Most of the time he was open.
Bro only
Minshew
caught the
couldn't make it that
ball.
far.
Yeah.
Minshew couldn't throw that far, so
it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out with AR and if it's any better, any different. But to me, this is a big proving year for Pierce because it's year 3. So,
I agree.
That next step, you've got to take it. But I certainly, when it comes to receiver, unless you're like crazy old, I'm certainly not looking past adding a guy like Tyler Boyd. That would be, my opinion, that would be a great Ballard signing because he'd be an under the radar signing who I believe could make an impact. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then Dave Stewart here says getting Jelani back is like signing a free agent, which I agree with that. I just think this season, like you said, this season is a way for Jelani and Alec Pierce. I think they really need to show that they want to be here or that they're going to be here in the future, because especially Jelani, because there was so much hype around Jelani coming into the season being, our premier tight end, and then dude ended up getting a pulled hamstring. So I like Jelani. Jelani's my guy.
Do I think Ogletree will be back at times? Honestly, I don't know.
yeah. I don't know. I don't really have too much to comment on that situation.
Yeah.
Other besides that, he got cleared, but we don't really know all the facts and everything. I believe that
Well,
the situation
he didn't get
was
cleared. He didn't get cleared. It got dismissed because of lack of evidence.
Exactly, and he got exonerated of all accusations, but we still don't know the facts. I don't believe a guy that if you're slamming women and that's what you're doing or whatever, and I don't think you should be a part of this team.
So a dismiss doesn't mean he wasn't guilty. It doesn't mean he was innocent. Because let's say he does a federal background check, that thing's gonna pop up that he was charged.
Yeah.
Right. And then they just they couldn't pursue anything in court because there was a lack of evidence. So when they did his arraignment, there was a lack of evidence, and the court just kind of said, "Well, we can't pursue this." So I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one for me. I just don't think that. I mean, we don't know what's true, what's not. I just think that if it is true, or it's up in the air, like a guy you doing that to women, I don't think you should be a part of the team. But if it's not true, then would love to have him back. Just don't really know enough. Just don't really know enough to say.
Cody sent this one again down at the bottom. Says, what do you guys think is the biggest needs offense and defense? I think our biggest need offensively is Anthony Richardson staying healthy. Defensively, I still think edge is our most pressing need defensively. What about you, Zach?
Offensively, receiver, for sure. I think adding just another weapon. And then defensively, I think safety. You could put edge, but I really think safety and or edge in my opinion, is pretty much a tie.
Yeah, I'm with Zach on this, or well, I guess I'd say split because I'm gonna say I agree with both of you guys, but it's split. I believe on offense it's receiver, and on defense I believe it's defensive end. Paul was saying, do we re-sign Kenny Moore? I think absolutely we should. You guys want to comment on that one?
Yeah, no, I agree. We already said this earlier. I think Kenny Moore is one of those guys that's harder to replace. You don't essentially get nickel corners that are playing at that type of level. So,
absolutely. They were saying, did it ever come out to what the 2 late suspensions were for? I believe he's talking about Isaiah McKenzie and Tony.
Tony Brown.
Yeah, they never came out. There was a bunch of rumors. I want to say Isaiah McKenzie did clear the fact that he said they did not kill any bald eagles. he did tweet out about that. So as far as we know, that I mean, I'm guessing it was a fight. That's what it seems like. What happened? Something happened. They got into a fight. Probably.
Yeah, probably them two fought each other. That's pretty much my guess.
Bro, that's like a midget on midget crime. They're both like what, 5'6" and 5'8"?
Yeah.
I think they're both 5'9".
Yeah, that's like midget on midget crime. That should be
Fuck
perfectly
you, dude.
legal.
Fuck you.
I know, dude. You're like, God damn, midget on midget girl. Like, holy
Bro, shit, I'm 5'8", man. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's okay, guys. I'm only 5'8", so like, you know, that's why I said it.
He called himself a midget.
This motherfucker.
That's so funny. What else do we have in here?
Oh, where'd everybody go? Bro, both y'all like disappeared at once. Like, was that me or was that y'all? What the hell?
Well, what the hell?
Like, oh, no, I'm alone.
Yeah, I thought I actually shut it down again. I'm like, what happened, bro? I was just about to click on this one here. Dave Seward saying it's amazing with all the people around. It was never made public from anyone. Yeah, it's a tough one. You would usually think like something would leak out or something about that, but it was pretty surprising.
Yeah.
Paul is saying, okay, so if Ballard does move up in the draft, who are we
Depends
taking?
on where we're at. Depends on where he moves to. I don't think he's going to move up unless it comes to that 13th or, you know, that 10th pick area. I don't know. Maybe we'll say like 8th to 12th. That area, if it comes into that area and there's someone that he essentially really likes, but he's starting to get worried that guy's not going to drop any further, I think that's where we trade. But essentially, I don't know. I think it would be somewhere on the edge or in the corner. I really think he's going defense in that first pick.
Yeah, I think if we were to trade up, I think it would be it'd be for defensive end Dallas Turner, be cornerback Terrion Arnold, or it would be wide receiver Malik Neighbors. Those would be my 3 personally that I would trade up if that what it was.
I think Zach had to bounce. Something went on with his life.
Saw that. Chad was saying thanks for joining. I think he thought everybody cut out. But not I don't know what the hell happened on that. But yeah, those would be my 3 if I had to say would be to trade up for. I'm telling you guys right now, if we traded up for a tight end,
I probably wouldn't watch football all year.
I'd have a rough time handling that one. I'm just gonna
I would start the hashtag fire Chris Ballard, and the day 1 draft wouldn't even be over yet.
Yeah, I think I'd be joining you in that. I think it'd just send me over the limit there.
I just don't see Marvin Harrison Jr. fixing, main issues. I mean, I get like we need a wide receiver, but at the same time, do we really need to spend that much to get one? That's my only thing. Like that's too big of a splash for my comfort.
It's just like what you said about Brock Bowers. I think that if we made the splash to go get Marvin Harrison Jr., right, he would have to be Justin Jefferson. And I don't mean like a
And
rookie
Vikings
Jefferson.
but Vikings haven't even sniffed a Super Bowl yet.
Yeah, no, I totally hear you. I just mean like production wise to justify that trade up. I mean, I don't care if Ursay wants him or not. That doesn't mean we get him. Paul is saying Ursay wants him.
Ursay's still on his fucking post surgery drugs.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things where like, if you trade up to get him, he's got to be Justin Jefferson 2.0 out the gate. So that is.
Dave, yeah, most likely. We did last year. We did the first day. We didn't do the whole draft. We only did day one, round one, because it's sitting here for day 2 and day 3. That's crazy because that's a lot of hours of sitting here.
Yeah, that's also
just to
during
watch.
a lot of us work time, or at least my work time.
Day 2 is definitely during work.
Yeah, we definitely want to try to. Always want to try and get in there. It would be cool if we could have it up while we're talking, but we don't have NFL rights. But we definitely want to do a during the draft time. Who was our guy that we had last year that was on with us every show, like during the draft?
Jordan Kibbe. It was Jordan
Kibbe. What happened? Somebody go tag Jordan Kibbe and see where he at. See what he's up to, man. Missed the guy, man. He was our first guest that we had on, as a matter of fact. Now I think about it. But yeah, where Jordan Kibbe, where you at, man?
So we will do our own mock draft also. So we'll do a Kicking with the Crew mock draft segment. It'll be, I think we could probably just do one episode of the whole draft. In my opinion, I mean, it doesn't take that long to do those simulators, so we could literally do a whole 7 rounds in one night.
I get it.
Go ahead. You're good.
I was just gonna say I get it, Chad, but it would ignite the fans, but it wouldn't ignite the people that really look at the team in totality as what we need to do to get through the season. So I don't know. I would love to have Marvin Harrison Jr. I just don't think it's realistic. I think it's insane, personally.
Yeah. Houston.
Yep. Matt nailed it. I'm Houston too. The first one we play Houston is just like with the Tennessee Titans for beating us for the 5 times straight that they did.
Yeah, last year I couldn't wait to beat Tennessee. Now this year I can't wait to beat Houston.
100% agree with Matt.
This might be a question. This might be a question for you. I don't know who Brian Thomas is. I'm assuming
he's the number 2 receiver out of LSU. I love Brian Thomas. I think he's really rose up the draft boards. I love his 4.33 speed, and I think he's a well-rounded receiver. Zach thinks he has some drop problems, but I could really care less about those if you're going to be a guy that can take it to the house. So we all saw Jamar Chase come in, and he was dropping balls in training camp or whatever, and people thought he was going to have drop problems, and then he went off, I want to say, for like a rookie 1,200 yards or something like that. So really could care less, but I think Brian Thomas is really good. I think he has a chance to become one of the best receivers out of this draft class. So, yeah, I'd love to get Brian Thomas. Just depends on who's on the board and where we're at, really. Yep. Paul was just talking about this earlier today. We got to get the division. Basically what I said in the group chat was we need to make the playoffs for the next 2 years. And then I also said that we have to win the division, which would hopefully be this year. I wouldn't want it to take too much longer, but I think within the next 2 years both the next 2 years we need to make the playoffs. And then this year we need to win the division or next year. So that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah, I agree.
He's going to the Buffalo game. Paul said he's going to the Buffalo game.
Is Paul the one who lives in Buffalo? Does he live in Buffalo?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I didn't see anything about that. Yeah, that'd be dope, man. I haven't been to too many games that aren't in California, so I definitely can't wait to get to the Indy game myself.
Went to Lucas Oil Stadium once. I don't think it really counts because, I mean, I went to the game, but it was during COVID, so the stadium was only allowed to be like half.
Oh, Dave is in Buffalo.
Dave is from Buffalo. Oh, so Paul's from Syracuse. Hey, look, we could hook y'all up. Y'all be buddies. Syracuse and Buffalo ain't far from each other.
Yeah.
Look at that. We about to make connections.
For sure. Let me see. Zach's coming. Man, if you don't get back on the computer, man. No, I'm just kidding. What moves, if any moves, would shock you to see
Trade up.
make for the Colts? Yeah. Yeah, trade up would shock me. Or not doing much in free agency would shock me, because then it'd be like he basically backed out on all of his words. So I think that would be the two for me. So trade up or not being active in free agency. Hell yeah, Dave. Shout out to you going to the game in Indy, man. I definitely it'd be dope if we can get the full crew to a game out in Indy. That'd be so dope. We gotta get that planned.
When I think Syracuse Orange, I think Donovan McNabb.
I was gonna say Dwight Freeney.
Donovan McNabb. No, I don't think Dwight Freeney from Syracuse. I literally think Donovan McNabb.
That's
but
fair.
I grew up, living in that area with Donovan McNabb being Phillies quarterback at that time.
See, for me, I think of Dwight Freeney or I think of Carmelo Anthony. So those would be the two that first pop into my mind when I think of those two. But appreciate everybody, man. We got up. I want to say I saw it as high as 27 viewers at one point. Got a ton of reactions from everybody. Got some shout outs from everybody. We really appreciate y'all for coming in tonight and joining us and kicking it with the crew. Shout out to ZTV. They've been getting us going and everything. Appreciate everybody coming in, sharing all your comments, thoughts, and everything on free agency. We're going to keep this thing going. So please join us each and every Saturday. Scan the QR code that we have on there. Check out the merch that we got for kicking with the crew. Please keep supporting us. Go like, share, subscribe on everything: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify Music, Apple Music. Pretty much we everywhere out there. So
I think we're on Google Podcasts too. Podcast stuff.
Just check us out. Please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, whatever you can do to help support. We appreciate all of you guys. But that'll wrap it up for us to hear tonight.
All right, everybody, appreciate y'all coming out. As always, go Colts.
Stay conservative, run the ball here on third down.
Here's Richardson. He takes it in for his first NFL touchdown. And Pittman takes it inside the 20, the 10, towards the end zone. Touchdown on 2nd and 28. The Colts capitalize. Richardson to Pittman, 39 yards.